Eamon Khan here, 4 Seconds Out, joined by Mark Tibbs again. So recently, Mark, I really appreciate it. There's been some latest developments, and I want to get into those straight away, which sees Fury drop off the card with Oleksandr Usyk after suffering a cut in training and in sparring. Mark, I've showed you the clip just before this interview, just so you could see it in your mind. Just talk me through what you saw leading up to Fury suffering that cut, which is causing that to drop out from that undisputed fight.
Well, first and foremost, we was going to Johnny Fisher's weigh-in today, and we was in the lift, and someone said the news, and we was all very, very, very disappointed. So disappointed because, you know, we've waited so very, very long, and obviously we had our own business to deal with, as in Fisher's weigh-in, so we didn't give it too much. But inside, I was gutted, so gutted, and because we've waited so long for what we thought we never was going to get, and yeah, so disappointed. And that footage you just showed me, the footage you showed me, that's the first time I've seen it. I mean, someone called a check hook, went nice check hook, yeah, and that was a check hook, but there was a back left-hand hook, short left-hand hook, but, you know, it looked low to me, but then there might have been a little clash of heads there. So, yeah, and it's a bad cut, I must say. I've seen a still of the cut, and it's pretty nasty. And 2 weeks out, it's so disappointing. I mean, you know, if it was earlier on, a couple of months back, different story, but so gutted because it's right on top of us. And I presume he probably had that spar and another spar, and he was done, you know, before they met. Yeah, so, yeah.
Could it possibly be an elbow that lands there? Do you feel, again, could an elbow, if it does land, cause that type of cut? Because there are some people that feel that a punch landed. I did a live with Danny. He feels a punch landed at that point, but and I felt maybe an elbow landed. There's some kind of controversial discussion around that, but could an elbow, if it did land, cause that cut?
See, Eamon, that bit of footage you showed me, off the check hook, the gentleman called it a good check hook, a backhand, a back left hand hook come in. Now, the back left hand hook come in, but it looked like it touched the whiskers of Tyson, yeah, and his head went back. If I couldn't see it myself, but if he went through, yes, an elbow could do that damage on that eye, 100%. But he looked like he was going through, but, you know, I can't. It was a bump crunch. If he went through, the elbow could have done that damage, 100%. Yeah.
Have you ever had any of your fighters previously that you work with suffer that sort of kind of cut, and how long usually does it take for that sort of thing to heal?
Well, that is very, very deep in my experience. It probably would need inside stitching as well as outside stitching. But you know, unless you're you know, as I say, I'm not a bloody doctor or a surgeon, but just from my experience with, you know, cuts myself as a young fighter, yeah, but I've never had one that big. I've had a pretty big one, and I had to have plastic surgery on the inside and then on the outside. But yeah, you know, I just hope it's not as bad as it bloody looks, but it looks pretty bad. And looking forward to the hope it's just been postponed. Yeah.
Can I ask you, just from a trainer's perspective regarding training, it doesn't seem like it would be out the usual to have hard sparring so close to the date, but still like 2 weeks away from the date. But when does hard sparring usually taper off, leading into tapering down for the fight week? Is it the usual thing for a fighter of that magnitude to still be sparring that heavily with such a fight on the line, so close to it?
Well, I can only talk from how I work myself. I mean, well, when I used to work with Dillian White, 2 weeks out, I'll be honest with you, I like to lighten things up a little bit. I like to lighten things up a little bit because we was on pay-per-views, and like Tyson's on Tyson's. This is the undisputed, so it's so much bigger than you know, when I was involved with Dillian White. But nevertheless, we all got a responsibility to get the fighter to the ring on the night because of what's involved. Television companies and big corporations sort of thing, and and fans, most importantly, to keep the fans happy. So I used to, and I still do it with you know, my fighters are not fighting for world titles. I make sure the hard sparring's done probably in the middle, beginning, break them in, middle, hard and long, and 10 days, 2 weeks out, I like to lighten up a little bit, you know, sometimes even body sparring, you know what I mean? But that's just me. It really depends on the animal, the experience and the level. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who that was, the sparring partner was, so it's I'm not going to make any judgment on that, but just telling you how I work myself, yeah.
You know, that's what I wanted from you in terms of your insight and how you operate with things. But yeah, people have said that it's not outside of the usual for fighters to have that type of sparring leading up to a fight, regardless of the magnitude of it. I just wondered as well, though, looking at this, will fighters look at this in the future, seeing that the cut the way it was, seeing the way the Wallen cut was before I looked at it myself, I saw the two cuts from the Wallen fight and this fight, and they're two different cuts, two different locations. The Wallen fight was above the eyebrow, this one's below the eyebrow. But would a fighter like Usyk look at that as a weakness and say, I'm going to target that in the undisputed fight to help me succeed to victory? Would a trainer look at that as a weakness and say, go for that, because that could be your route to success?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's a target for sure, and you know, yeah, that is a target. Yeah, I got to say, we'd if I was, you know, that's what I'd do. Do you know what I mean?
Moving forward on the point with the Fury Usyk fight, there are some people that don't take it for face value and feel like because of the whispers and rumors around the fight and the way the camp was going, they don't fully believe everything, and they feel like, I think maybe it's because Tyson Fury says one thing and sometimes other things happen. People want to see more evidence and don't fully believe that situation. That's the public and social side of things sometimes, to not believe those things, but surely this is what it is. This is a legitimate cut, and there was no reason for Fury to pull out other than for his health.
No, from my instinctive feeling, I think it's. I don't think. You know, it's genuine. Reason being because it's so close, so near, and so close to fight night. Yeah. So you know, you can only. You know, I'm sure there's some, you know, with the lawyers and insurances in place for things like this, and evidence would have to be, you know, between two parties would have to be produced. I'm very, very sure of that. So no, I think it's well, I know it's genuine. Yeah, it's just one of them things. It's just wished it would have happened at the beginning of the camp instead of right at the very, very end. But you know, by looking at that footage you showed me, it didn't look, you know, it didn't look heavy sparring, and but you know, it's only a brief 30 seconds I saw, a moment. So, but yeah, just really, really, really. Oh mate, can you imagine how everyone? Can you imagine? It's a sickener for both camps, I'm sure.
Lastly, Tyson Fury released a statement, and he also released a social media post, and he said, look, these things happen in sparring. Usyk was in for, you know, a rough night had the fight happened, but he's going to come back and he's still looking forward to the fight. But under it, Alex Krashuk, Usyk's promoter, said, look, wish you all the best on the road to recovery, but maybe this is a sign from up above. And he says, maybe you should look at retirement. Now, again, for me, it doesn't seem like a retirement would be a good route, considering Undisputed is right there for him. But speaking to like Eddie Hearn, they mentioned like the wear and tear, and if these things happen, you're getting older. People say that you're in decline. That might be on the table, but surely that's not on the table, right, Mark?
Well, you can't rule it out. You can't rule it out because of you know, people have got the right for that sort of opinion because of his last performance and the fights he's been in. You know what I'm saying? But only time will tell. Only time will tell, and Usyk's handlers have got the right to say that. And yeah, it's difficult if you're not there and you're not around them. It's difficult. We can only you know, say what we see. But I just hope that it gets you know, it comes off. But in a way, it's pretty doubtful as well. I hate to say, but I'm very optimistic. I'm an optimistic person, but yeah, wear and tear. Who knows? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But I hope not. Fingers crossed.